All right. Mostly everybody knows how to drive, but how many people know how to drive a manual vehicle? According to a recent study, only 18% of Americans know how to drive manual vehicles. That is because each year, more and more vehicles are coming out of factories with only automatic transmissions available. Driving a manual vehicle can be helpful in many ways, though. Thinking about manual transmissions might be overwhelming for some people, but they are not as bad as you think. In this speech, I will help people learn about how to drive manual vehicles and their benefits. Let's begin by learning about the manual transmission. Okay, so the first thing you need to know is what exactly a manual transmission is. So the manual transmission is an automotive transmission that consists of a system of interlocking gear wheels and a lever that enables the driver to shift gears manually. It has different parts to it, including the clutch, which is a pedal in the vehicle located to the left of the brake, and it is used to open up the gears to allow you to shift the transmission, and is operated by the driver. And the gear stick is used to control which gear the transmission is in, and it's located in the middle of the cab above the transmission. So then the transmission contains the gears that control the speed of the vehicle. You have control of what gear the transmission is in, including neutral, which keeps your vehicle running without it being in motion. The different vehicles have different numbers of gears based on the make and model of the vehicle. So now that you have a general idea on what a manual transmission is, let me explain the importance of knowing how to drive one. So it can help you in many different situations. Like, how are you supposed to be able to text and drive when you're too busy shifting gears? I witness many people driving with their focus on their phones rather than their driving. One hand on the steering wheel and one hand on the shifter doesn't allow you to be distracted on your phone. It helps you prevent your car from being stolen. Imagine you're minding your business driving around town. You get interrupted by a person with a gun and they are forcing you to exit your vehicle. You willingly get out afraid of your life, and a thug enters your vehicle. They realize that they have no idea how to drive the vehicle because it's a manual, and they never bothered to learn how to drive one. So the thug exits your vehicle and runs away to avoid getting caught. So you could also save somebody's life. Imagine that you and your friend are walking in the mountains and your friend gets bitten by a poisonous snake. You both are half an hour away from the nearest hospital, and your vehicle is a 15-minute walk in the opposite direction. You both start walking and come across an abandoned vehicle. In one scenario, the vehicle is manual, and neither you or your friend know how to drive one. Boom. Your friend doesn't make it. You forever loathe yourself because you never took the time to learn something so simple as shifting gears. The second scenario, the vehicle is manual, and you aren't worried because you know how to drive one. You and your friend get in the vehicle and quickly get to the hospital. Your friend survives, and you both live happily ever after, all because you took the time to learn how to drive a manual. Now that I've shown you what a manual transmission is and why it's important to have knowledge on them, it's time to learn exactly how to drive one. So the first thing is starting the vehicle. So you enter the vehicle and you make sure the transmission is in neutral. You push the clutch to the floor with your foot and you hold it down. You put the key in the ignition and turn it until the vehicle starts. Let off the clutch if you want to leave it running. Now that you have the vehicle running, you can now start to drive it. First, you have to push the clutch in. Make sure that the e-brake is off. You put the stick into the first gear and slowly let off the clutch. At the same time you let off the clutch, start slowly pushing on the gas pedal. As you start moving forward down the road, you will eventually not be able to gain speed, and you will need to shift again. Then the most desirable shifting point is at 2,500 RPMs. To shift into second gear, you need to let off the gas pedal and push the clutch in. Once you've pushed the clutch in, take the stick and put it from first into second gear. After doing so, you can let off the clutch and put down the gas again, in that order. You will do the same thing for shifting into the next gears and on. To go in reverse, follow the same steps used for shifting into first gear, except put the stick into the reverse position. Now that you've learned what a manual transmission is, why they are important, and how to drive one, I hope that you take this knowledge to your advantage. Knowing how to drive a manual vehicle is a good skill to have. It can help you in dire situations, like saving a friend or saving yourself from distracted driving. Having a manual vehicle and knowing how to drive it makes driving less boring and more enjoyable. If you just take the time to learn how to drive a manual vehicle, it could make your life much easier without you even realizing it. Thank you.